Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, the war in Ukraine rages on all fronts. Not just the physical bombs and explosions that you are now seeing on television, but also the information wars, the cultural wars, the media wars, the cyber wars. And let's be honest with ourselves, we kind of knew that there were going to be a lot of questionable information coming out of both the Russian and Ukrainian camps. But we tend to trust in those platforms a bit more, simply because a lot of the people disseminating the information may not have anything to lose. But in regards to traditional media, the way that they have been covering this particular war has sparked a lot of controversy. That is because we are able to compare it to other conflicts that have happened around the world. For instance, the way that the war against terrorism and the war against ISIS was disseminated across social media. It was different. You could see that there were a lot of differentiating points of view being disseminated by different nations, different people, different cultures. It all depended on who you were, which decided how much of an impact it was going to have across social media. One thing that has been difficult to not notice is the racism. Race has played a part in the way these people have disseminated this information, especially when it comes to the traditional media. In today's video, we're going to show you a few instances of racist rhetorical reporting that has been given to us from both traditional media and social media. It's been crazy. It's almost as if they don't care anymore. They just, okay, we're racist. And what? I find it fascinating that they really don't even try to hide it anymore. First, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. I'm also going to invite you to please follow the Oversight channel, the channel that is there to help you to invest on the African continent both safely and securely, link also in the description. So let's show you our first clip.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
This is not a developing third world country. This is Europe. So it makes a difference. It makes a difference to these guys because they believe that these people deserve to be treated differently. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't know. I don't know. With it, I always try to put the shoe on the other foot, and I try to see whether we as Africans, as diasporans, as continentals, whether we should be acting exactly the same way, whether we should be showing solidarity with the whole of the African continent. We rarely do this. If you remember the xenophobic attacks that were being carried out on Nigerians in South Africa, it is clear that we Africans also need a bit more solidarity with one another, just like this.
Now with the Russians marching in, it's changed the calculus entirely. Tens of thousands of people have tried to flee the city. There will be many more. People are hiding out in bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen. So it's partly human nature, but they are not in denial.
I always find it funny when people say all due respect at the beginning of whatever they're going to say, because it's more than likely that they're going to say something awfully disrespectful. And that is what happens in this case. Of course, they would say that these other countries are not civilized. That's basically what he's saying. Countries like Afghanistan and Iraq weren't civilized countries, because he's saying that the Ukraine is a civilized country. I wonder why. God, this is ridiculous. And of course, you cannot stop the Ukrainians from doing what they do best. Here you're going to hear from the former deputy chief prosecutor in Ukraine. Just listen to what he has to say.
It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
I cannot believe what he just said. And that is Unbelievable what he said. Oh no, it really hits home. These are not like the darkies back in Africa and that. Now these are different. These are white people. These are civilized people from Europe. We should treat them differently. We should let them in. Let's be honest with ourselves. Do we expect any different from them? I mean, you've watched the last couple of videos that I've made about Ukrainian society, right? We have a newspaper in the United Kingdom called the Sunday Telegraph. Guys, I want to read this article to you. I shouldn't be laughing because this is war, but this is so funny. Listen to this. They seem so like us. That is what makes it so shocking. Ukraine is a European country. Its people watch Netflix and have Instagram accounts, vote in free elections and read uncensored newspapers. War is no longer something visited upon impoverished and remote populations. It can literally happen to anyone. Yeah, you know, I shouldn't laugh. Like I said, it's not funny, right? I mean, I think part of the reason why I'm laughing is because I am a black man growing up in Europe, born, raised. And, you know, I think at some point, all us diasporans have used humor to try and quell the anger that hides inside us. It's incredible the way some people are. But, you know, we know how to deal with it. We've learned how to deal with it pretty much all of our lives. And we are not surprised when we hear things like this. What I'm surprised about is that it's coming from these major traditional media sources. You've never heard them speak in this way before. So openly racist, with such a contrast in regards to speaking about especially the refugees. Now, I think that all these children should be saved regardless. And I think that they should be saved along with the mothers so they can protect the children as and when they go into Europe. So you can understand why they would give refuge to these Ukrainians, because I don't think that the Ukrainians want to stay in the West anyway. I think some of them will, but not all of them. I think a lot of them have now seen this as an opportunity to seek a new life. You do have a lot of Ukrainians who are unable to get visas, who are unable to get documents and those types of things to move abroad. And now they have that opportunity to do so. And their white privilege, let's not forget, guys, these guys do have white privilege, okay? So when they go and try and get visas from the UK, from France, from the Netherlands, from Belgium, from the United States, from Canada, guys, these visas are going to get thrown at these people. Permanent residence is not going to be a problem for these guys. So you will see that a lot of Ukrainians will take this opportunity to leave. The country is, at this moment, I don't know, you will get a lot of people who understandably will want to just go back to their normal lives, because there are groups of people who are enjoying their lives in the Ukraine. But mostly these guys are part of this plutocracy that is the ruling class of the Ukraine elite. But guys, that's just the way it is, okay? They're white people, right? I mean, that is the way a lot of people will see them. I mean, they are just white people. I said this in a video yesterday, white people don't exist, but, well, maybe they do. Maybe there is an ethnicity called white people. That is probably so, but a race, no. I mean, these guys are Slavic, right? So they are not going to see themselves like they would see a Spanish person. They're not the same people. You can call both of them European, but they're not the same people. So when will all this stop? I don't think it will. I think that there has been a change culturally in the West. I think that around 2010 it started, this change, this metamorphosis in culture here in the West, where racism became almost accepted, an accepted reality by white people. Yeah, okay, a lot of white people are racist. I've got other problems, you know, I've got to deal with my problem. I can't take on other people's problems, especially black people's and Indian people's and brown people's problems. I've got to sort out myself. Okay, good luck with them, you know. So even the non-racist white people, they've got other things to worry about. So they don't see themselves as being an important, integral part of change. What is important is that these media companies are always called out when this type of reporting happens. One person who I know is looking into this is someone who follows me on Instagram. That is Afua Hirsch, who is a British reporter, and she's just a lovely young woman. If you are listening or watching this, Afua, thank you for following. And yeah, and Afua had this to say. This is literally why I teach journalism, so we never produce another generation who spout and normalize this, guys. So it's important that we have good reporters, good people like Afua Hirsch, who is going to talk about this and shout this from the rooftops every time one of these clowns gets on TV and speaks about how these Ukrainians deserve better because of the color of their skin. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.